Hey, happy Friday. So, I want to dig right back in where we left off yesterday. And we were in Matthew 5:48. And Jesus is teaching, and he says, "You must become perfect, growing into complete maturity of godliness in mind and character, having reached the proper height of virtue and integrity, as your heavenly Father is perfect." Now, what I love about this is that it's very clear that this is a growing and learning. It's very clear that this is a process. And so I want to go to let's go to Matthew 4:23. Jesus taught a lot. If you go through the Gospels, and I'm not going to go through all of them, I'm just going to give you a couple of examples, but you can go through all of the Gospels and you will read time and time again that Jesus taught, and Jesus taught, and Jesus taught, and Jesus taught. And so teaching is learning, right? That was the whole point of Jesus' teaching, was that so people would learn. And so Matthew 4:23 tells us exactly that. And he went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the good news, the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every disease and every weakness and infirmity among the people. So Jesus went about teaching and then healing every disease and every weakness and infirmity among them. Do you see that pattern there? First, Jesus taught, and then Jesus did. And in the same thing, let's go to Matthew 5, so just a few verses down, 1 and 2. And this says, "Seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain. And when he was seated, his disciples came to him. And he opened his mouth, and he taught them, saying." And I was reading through this as I was preparing. So much meat. You need to get your Bible and go through Matthew 5. We think about the Sermon on the Mount as just the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are those. That's what we think about the Sermon on the Mount. But if you look in the book of Matthew chapter 5, Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 6, Matthew chapter 7, in all of this reading, Jesus is still on the Mount. That's a lot of teaching. It doesn't say that he comes down from teaching on the Mount until Matthew 8. Jesus taught. That you talk about drinking from a fire hydrant. That was a fire hydrant. And so he's taught them all of this meat. I'm talking like bone-in, 2.5-inch thick ribeye. Talking about the meat of the word. Jesus taught them meat. Go back and read it. Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Take in all of the things that Jesus taught them on that mount. And then Matthew 8:1 says, when Jesus came down from the mountain. So that tells you that he went up in Matthew 5:1, and then in Matthew 8, he came down. But look at what he does. When Jesus came down from the mountain, great throngs followed him. And behold, a leper came up to him and prostrating himself worshipped him, saying, "Lord, if you are willing, you are able to cleanse me by curing me." And he reached out his hand and touched him, saying, "I am willing, be cleansed," by being cured. And instantly his leprosy was cured and cleansed. Go down to verse 5. As Jesus went into Capernaum, a centurion came up to him, begging him, saying, "Lord, my servant boy is lying at the house paralyzed, distressed with intense pain." But Jesus said, "I will come and restore him." And the centurion replied to him, "I am not worthy or fit to have you come under my roof, but speak the word, and my servant will be cured." And of course, Jesus spoke the word, and the boy was cured. So Jesus has spent all of this time teaching what it means to be a kingdom person, what it means to live in the kingdom of God. He taught them the kingdom way of life. And then he came down from the mountain and he showed them how to live and to operate in the kingdom of God. And that's what Paul is telling us in Ephesians. Be imitators of God. Follow his example. Mimic his behavior as well-beloved children. I cannot wait to dig back in with you next week. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.